From the crowd, that one was a little bit wider than some of the previous efforts and of no concern to Sham Karmas in goal.
Well, it's a fourth shot. Speckmeyer of the game splayed off the right boot. You can see the rain starting to come down a little heavier here at Amy Park. It's either going to make for a slicker surface or a slightly heavier one if it continues.
Well, Sham Karmas definitely isn't showing the pressure of the situation. Robbie Hooker maybe is a little bit more. See, he's wearing the cap today. Matos just kicks it into open space. Stott is back. Mires, how determined are Wanderers to press up here? Melina Mires with, well, a contested passage out of defence. Matos made it work, jumped in front, wins a free kick. And an attacking half set piece for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Again, it'll be instructive exactly how many players they commit forward.
Well, anticipated well by Matos, just nipped in front of Carly Rossbacken to get first to the ball. It'll be the left foot of Silvestre to try and whip this one into a dangerous area.
And on the skiddy surface, Melbourne City really want to win the first header or the first volley away here. Don't let it bounce. Silvestre into the box it goes. It does bounce, and it didn't catch a touch from Apostolakis or any of the players in the air, and it goes out for a goal kick. But as Amy Harrison gets into a dialogue with the referee, Wanderers with another little half chance just to plant the seeds of doubt. And look at this, Silvestre and Eunice lined up like 400-metre sprinters at the edge of the box.
Yep, the moment this touch goes off the boot, in they come, trying to put pressure, knowing that City want to find a way through and unlock, bypass the first line of defence.
Otto has to work to the left flank. Rossbacken and Hughes, and just a loose touch from Hughes, invited on Matos. And now Chisari. Harada with support from Price. And Liv Price can't find a way through a very narrow window, which McKenna closes. However, Wanderers have possession back. Price again. Harada, great touch. And now Eunice. Kush LaRue, well, stuck offside again. There is Janelle Samet, the assistant referee, but Kush LaRue, the instincts you see whenever she receives the ball, because she's a natural right footer, she never wants to break onto the left.
Well, it was a nice bit of build-up play from the Wanderers. Little 1-2 touch passes in the middle of the field, and when they move it quickly, they are able to break through that City midfield, which is quality. Kush LaRue, having been called off twice now in a few minutes, just needs to hold her line or hold that run just half a moment.
Mires pops the ball over the top, a header on by Henry, but not to the advantage of Speckmeyer. Sham Karmas, game number 75 today. Solid header by Rossbacken. Buchanan. Oh, Speckmeyer is backing herself to come in and win the ball off defenders every time they're in possession now. So a hurried clearance, finds Mires. And skimming seemingly off Buchanan, out for a Melbourne City throw. Quickly taken. Harvey. Carly Rossbacken. And a misplaced cross that wasn't to the advantage of any of the City players in the penalty box. Allows Rue to clear, and now Hayward bombs away there and straight back down to Mires, who's never afraid to come roaming out of the penalty area to play the keeper sweeper role.
Well, in previous games, we've seen the Wanderers set up with Kush LaRue and Sophie Harding up top, the two speedsters. We know that Harding's on the bench today, and the formation they've gone with means that Kush LaRue's a little deeper in the field. And the Wanderers haven't quite been able to exploit the space in behind, and nor do they have the legs of a Rue and a Harding to chase.
There is Sophie Harding, and there is Kush LaRue, still looking for goal number 2 of her career. Right now, though, it's City on the attack, and, well, that was a vital intercept from Hayward because Riley Henry was escaping down on the right wing where that diagonal pass was intended. Harrison, and skimming off Matos, will be Melbourne City ball. So almost half an hour ticked by. Melbourne City are a very patient team, but the quality of chances they've created already would suggest that if they can just turn up the heat a little again, 9 shots to 0, they cannot be too far away. Wanderers won't mind. They've had a more relaxed 5 minutes, though, without the actual shots on goal coming thick and fast. And Chisari, a hard-won tackle there. Hayward pushes it all the way back to Karmas. Hayward will turn into Briley Henry, but is able to whip the ball on. Kush LaRue. And now the intercept made by Stott. Chisari wins the ball back. And they're happy to reset with their goalkeeper here, Western Sydney.
Well, Amy Chisari, she's been a real steady head at such a young age in the middle of the park for the Wanderers. But those stats for shots on goal, shots on target, pretty well ring true to the seasons we've seen from these two teams so far. Wanderers in this game yet to register a single shot on target. But across the course of the season, their first 4 games, they've only registered a total of 12.
Pass from McKenna there in midfield was promising, but just ran on down to Karmas. Policina was the one chasing. Well, this is interesting from City. They're happy just to stand off, and Sham Karmas under no obligation to get things restarted. 14 touches to 0 in the opposing penalty area so far for Melbourne City. Briley Henry, who has been deployed as a right back at times, but seems to be occupying a more traditional right midfield role, with Alexia Apostolakis standing behind her at right back today. Harada has to go and retrieve the ball, and then saw a pass to Liv Price and found her. Price, though, caught by the backtracking Henry, and the referee's there to pay the foul. You don't always see those paid, though.
But lovely pass. You mentioned it there coming through from Harada. That pass alone cut out 4 City players. Liv Price, she's been brought in today. Her experience, really composed player at the back, especially with the Wanderers move into the back 3, allows Liv Price just to sit in front, try and pull the strings for this Wanderers side.
Physical contest between Eunice and McKenna. Wanderers get the throw again. Michael Matriciani there. Hands on hips as he observes his team defending, and defending comfortably on this occasion as the throw-in runs straight out for a goal kick. Played briefly in the A-League for Adelaide United. Primarily played in the South Australian NPL before a bit of time coaching at the Adelaide United Women, the South Australian NTC for girls, and most recently in men's NPL, where he is the defending champion coach before taking on this new appointment. Letitia McKenna. It's very interesting to see her younger sister, Tiana McKenna, called up to the Croatia national team in this international break. Letitia's got that option open, but clearly as a former young Matilda, is still hoping to play for the green and gold one day.
She joins a couple of other A-League women's players in that Croatian national team set up too, Teo.
Yeah, if you jump on the A-League website, the second screen experience, there's actually a great article there about Bianca Galic on there today, about the tough decision she had to make to give up on her dream of playing for Australia and ultimately take the plunge and commit to playing internationally for Croatia. Don't forget the Matildas. They're on tomorrow night against Brazil. As we see Melbourne City probing the left flank. You can catch that Matildas versus Brazil game on 10 Play and Paramount Plus. Got to say, for a friendly, that's about as entertained as I've been by a friendly in quite some time, Grace, because it was just non-stop, the intensity. Love what Brazil are bringing to this series.
Well, nothing friendly about it, fair to say. A tough-fought game from both teams and a seriously physical challenge.
Of course, it was right here at Amy Park that they bombed out of the 2023 Women's World Cup against Jamaica with a 0-0 draw, and just the difference in spirit and belief. If you watch the two games, you wouldn't have guessed which one was the World Cup and which one was a friendly. And maybe Western Sydney Wanderers now are growing in confidence, because that pass from Kushlaroo nearly setting away Danica Matos. Mires, ever reliable to charge out off the line, cleared it well. Rue. Apostolakis battling Chisari. Well, and the foul does come there, just as Chisari might have been thinking she'd won the ball away. So just over 10 minutes of regulation until half-time. It's actually been a brisk moving game in that we haven't had a great deal of stoppages. The ball has been in play for a lot of the match. But Melbourne City, they've just lost that little edge that they had about 10 minutes ago when Mariana Speckmaier was getting into great goal-scoring positions.
We have to go back to the first game of the Melbourne City season where they defeated Perth 5-2, where they didn't score a first half goal. All 5 goals coming in the second half. We know they're patient, we know they're capable. This has been a sound defensive effort by the Wanderers to hold a good ball-playing City out.
Catherine Harvey coming into midfield just to get a feel for the game again. She hasn't scored since that round 1 avalanche against the Glory. Grabbed a double on debut, but has been for a third goal of the season ever since. I guess Lourdes Bosch will be watching from the stands, wishing she was out there, Grace, because just that relentlessness is missing a little bit. We've seen moments in this half, but Wanderers have been able to hit the pressure relief valve when they've needed to.
Yeah, mentioned it already, but the quality that Bosch has brought to this City side, and she's scored a goal in each of the last 3 games. Just pulled up with that tight quad after the game against Sydney FC last week.
Great challenge from Hayward. Got the ball and left Harvey sprawling there. It's a real bash and crash fearlessness to Paige Hayward at times. Now Eunice. No real teammates on ahead of the ball, but Hayward is the outlet, and then that pass, very ropey, and intercepted by Speckmaier, who can turn and play it to Policina. And everything just slows down a little. Henry. Policina and Speckmaier both running ahead of the ball. McKenna, both arms in the air, calling for the pass. Bowled over, and then the free kick goes Wanderers' way. Handball. And that's why you should never ref yourself. Letitia McKenna maybe put hands on the ball there thinking she was fouled.
Well, this ball from Briley Henry does really well to pick out Letitia McKenna. Heavy challenge coming through. As we look for the handball, it's the first touch.
But is it a penalty? Does Matos catch the leg of McKenna there?
Well, there's definitely contact through the back from Matos. You can understand the shouts, but as McKenna goes to ground, just grappling on the ball.
Off heads, Apostolakis. And as the ball is retrieved, let's throw it down to Neve Owens on the sideline. And with Elise Keller-Knott, of course. Neve.
Yeah, KK's here beside me. Teo, how did you see that moment, KK?
I think the Wanderers just played their get out of jail card. I think for me that was a definite pen. So momentum, pushed in the back, like clear foul. But I mean, get out of jail card. Let's go. Might be Wanderers' day today.
Thank you to, of course, Matilda's legend, Elise Keller-Knott, calling it as she sees it. That's what we like. Ball out on the left. And, well, that's the unwanted hat-trick for Kushlaroo in this first half. 3 times offside. And you don't need to be a lip reader to see the frustration mounting for the Wanderers attacker here.
And this is where she's got to be acutely aware. You can see all the way across the line. You can see the ball come in, and you really have to be so patient to hold your run, especially if you know that you've already run into an offside position on a couple of occasions. You almost have to overcompensate just to get that right. 21 years old Kushlaroo was actually a member of the Wellington Phoenix team when they were based out of Wollongong in their inaugural season when border closures necessitated it. Here's Harvey running onto a long ball. All the time in the world to pick out a teammate. Catherine Harvey's cross, and it slides across the face. Speckmaier was unmarked at the far post, but Briley Henry's touch took it out of her lunging reach. Oh, yet another chance for City. Right in the last 5 minutes before half-time, a perfect time to score. I almost thought Harvey held onto the cross just a moment too long. Briley was working hard to hold her run. She'll be frustrated there, though, couldn't redirect that where it needed to go.
McKenna, and now Harvey behind Henry this time, and Chisari puts a boot in, only as far as Stott. Apostolakis. Ball speed is picked up from City. McKenna, Harvey from the right side. Speckmeyer went for the little drag step after stepping over the ball. That would have been a brilliant goal. And now around the corner, McKenna fires over the bar. Well, Mariana Speckmeyer hasn't been able to score with traditional shooting, so decided to improvise here.
It's a better ball coming through from Harvey. Didn't delay on it. It's a wonderful save from Sham Karmas, and yet again, coming up big for her side. She gives her team a bit of a spray afterwards as well. But gets down well, closes the angle. It's a good right boot save from Karmas.
And you can just tell Speckmeyer's not low on confidence in a half where she's been foiled by a close-range save, has hit the woodwork twice, still has just the audacity to try the little step-over drag like that.
No, I love that. That's great to see. And just the second shot on target for this City side as their shot tally continues to grow, but a little lower in numbers is those shots on target.
Harada just lost her balance and lost the ball. McKenna in the blink of an eye. Harvey, Speckmeyer between the lines. A great run and a great finish. Mariana Speckmeyer, a goal that has been coming, and she says at last it's a goal for me. Denied by the woodwork twice, by the keeper twice, but not to be denied here. It's Melbourne City 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 0.
Well, it was building for Melbourne City. They had chance after chance, and Mariana Speckmeyer on the Harvey Norman replay this time does not miss. A ball right down the middle, takes one touch, has a little glance up, passes past the oncoming goalkeeper, and it's a celebration of relief more than anything. City have got their lead right in the shadows of half-time. It's a nicely taken finish.
Well, she loves Amy Park. All 3 goals this season have been here at this venue. 13th career for Mariana Speckmeyer. And it's her 2nd career goal against the Western Sydney Wanderers as well. There's the leaderboard for the Golden Boot. And Gielnik off on Matilda's duty at the moment. Not playing, and neither are Melbourne Victory this weekend. And for Western Sydney Wanderers, if they'd made it to half-time, it would have been such a confidence boost. As we see a foul here on Hayward. But Grace, it's a bit of a similar story. Last week they were down 1-0 to the Brisbane Roar. They then conceded the 2nd in first half stoppage time. And it just feels like, again, they were getting so close to just ticking off an achievement, and they couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, and that's a frustrating one for a coach as well. When you think you're going to come into the sheds at half-time with a 0-0, I think Robbie Hooker would have been really pleased with how his side has defended up until this point. But Speckmeyer, she was lurking, she looked dangerous. And you'd have to say, perhaps a little unlucky that she hadn't found the net sooner.
And it's really red alert here for Western Sydney. There's only 2 minutes of regulation to go, but they cannot drop their concentration, because City, if they score a second, will feel as though they've done enough to win the points. And then, unfortunately, the second half becomes about goal difference and about dominating the game. As long as it's only the 1 goal, it's only ever 1 slip or 1 misplaced pass away from Wanderers grabbing an equaliser.
Well, important now for the Wanderers is their response. Mentally not dropping their heads, their body language, keeping their shape, and then just doing the little things right. Up until half-time, they then have the opportunity to reset, regroup.
Mirez, McKenna, neat little pass out to Stott. Harvey roaming around. Apostolakis. It was an aggressive touch to try and get the better of Kush LaRue, but Price came over and made sure that City didn't advance any further. Chisari squeezes the ball onto Eunice, and the shout from Price comes on the left sideline. Last minute of regulation in the first half. Melbourne City with the breakthrough goal. Mariana Speckmeyer. Hayward over the top. The runners are away. And it is offside again. Janelle Sammett's flag has been the bane of Western Sydney Wanderers in this first half.
Yet again, just Kushlaroo needs to hold her run, perhaps needs to arc her run as well. Certainly something she needs to have a think about at half-time. 4 times now she's run into an offside position. We know she's fast. We know she can be damaging in that final third, but needs to get that timing right.
Policina, referee has to take evasive action. Oh, so does Policina's teammate, Harvey. The shot blocked away. 2 additional minutes to end the first half. And Melbourne City can sense the chance to really separate themselves from their opponents here today. Rossbacken. A line of attackers waiting at the edge of the box. None of them moving just yet. Policina is going to shoot from distance. And batted down and held onto by Sham Khamis. Policina, of course, a Sydney sider who started her career in the old W League at the Western Sydney Wanderers. Fell out of the system for a handful of years and then came back spectacularly via the Newcastle Jets. She has a great record against her original team as well, Policina. 3 goals in 8 games. All of them while wearing City blue. Otto. Policina here. The ball actually catches her heels and runs away. So not many seconds to play with here for Western Sydney before the halftime break. Harada. Price. And now Buchanan. Chisari. To Harrison. And skidding Matos was beaten to the ball by Rossbacken. And now Briley Henry can go and retrieve it. Harvey is motoring through the middle, sensing the chance to attack late. Briley Henry drops the shoulder, hits the byline, the cutback's there, and it was just Harvey in the penalty area, no one else advancing. And that might see the game to half-time here. Chisari's in space, but the clock is Wanderers' enemy. That pass was under-hit, and it is met by the half-time whistle, so a goal late in the half from the Venezuelan international, Mariana Speckmeyer, has Melbourne City in front. They'll feel it's no less than they deserve. And the Western Sydney Wanderers, will we see the Dolan medalist Sophie Harding come off the bench in the second half? They've got to chase it again, because right now it's Melbourne City 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. Stay with us. Neve Owens and Elise Kellon-Knight have your halftime show on the other side of this short break.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll standy. I got nothing else to do. Chat around. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't know where PA are. I got you, Callum. Up in that box over there.
Melbourne City aim for a winning standard. So do we. At Host Plus, we brought home the Cancer Award for Outstanding Value Sister for the 7th year in a row.
No, I think I was saying that there was no one was in there. I'll just keep talking. They just want me to keep chatting.
Welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. I'm Neve Owens alongside Elise Kellon-Knight. KK, you promised me 6 goals in this one, and the way Speckmeyer was playing in that first half, I thought she might score 6 herself.
She definitely could have had 6. She had the opportunities, didn't she? But I think I was more anticipating it to be a game of goals, not missed opportunities. But I guess that's what you get with football. Who knows what's going to happen?
She got her just rewards in the end, because as we have a look at the Harvey Norman highlights, prior to this, she had hit the post, she'd hit the crossbar, she'd hit the upright, she'd had a couple of goal opportunities saved, but this is such a beautiful run.
Yeah, she finally got that goal. It took till the 42nd minute. She definitely had her chances. I can't believe the one she hit the crossbar. I think that's the cleanest crossbar I've ever seen hit before. But finally, just reward here. It was an amazing pass through by her teammate Harvey up top. Perfectly timed run. Skinned off the shoulder of Buchanan. She couldn't be touched. She's so quick off the mark here, and perfectly weighted pass, and she wasn't going to miss this opportunity. I think Shem Karmas this half has been her nemesis, but she was finally able to find the back of the net.
It felt like it really swung this first half. There were moments in it where I thought City were going to run away with the game. Western Sydney Wanderers doing really well to hang in there.
Yeah, the Wanderers actually started quite well. I love the intent that they've come out with, so trying to do that high press, it hasn't paid off. You can see the stats on the right, something maybe Wanderers don't want to look at right now. So no shots, no big chances, haven't even touched the woodwork, haven't been in the box of the opposition yet. It does look a little bit grim, but I still think there's really positive intent from them. And City are notorious for making mistakes as they try to play out, because they love to play this technical type of football, take risks, and we've seen them concede goals by losing the ball in their own back third before, and it could possibly happen again today.
As you look at those stats, it makes you wonder whether Robbie Hooker is thinking about bringing back on the Julie Dolan medalist Sophie Harding in the second half. Time for a really quick break here on the Hungry Jacks halftime show. On the other side of this break, we're going to have a really special guest join us right here on the panel. See you in a sec.
guest? Yeah, cool. I'll leave this one for the guest then.
City fans, there is a mountain of football on Paramount Plus. This is the only place to see every A-Leagues, Combat Utilities and Subway Soccer Rules game. You can live stream every game, every goal, every moment live on Paramount Plus. And the assist of the month award goes to eToro. Goals require assist. Pursue your financial goals on eToro with the assistance of over 35 million users. You can ask questions, explore other investor strategies, performance and investments, get insights and ideas to build your ultimate portfolio for a wide variety of assets like global and local shares, crypto, ETFs and so much more. Join eToro, proud sponsor of the A-Leagues. Get ready and cheer, City family. Just like Midfield supports the A-Leagues, they're on your team too.
Welcome back to Amy Park. First game of the doubleheader here this afternoon, and it is the home side Melbourne City with a 1-0 lead at the break. We've got a really special guest joining us here on the desk, and we even saw it run across to join us, which was awesome to see. Holly McNamara, so good to see you. 12 months ago we saw that awful ACL injury. Our hearts broke, I reckon, along with yours. How are you feeling? Where are you at?
Yeah, really good. It's obviously been a little bit more than 12 months now, and I'm starting to get back into it. But yeah, I'm just happy to be back around the girls. So yeah.
You're getting itchy feet? I know I've had 2 ACLs myself, and whenever I am close to getting back, I got itchy feet, and I wanted to be out there. So you're starting to feel that?
Oh, 100%. I think the physios at Melbourne City are getting pretty sick of me, begging and asking. But no, I've got to be smart this time. You would know. It's kind of, you get to that end stage and you think you're fine. You think you're invincible, and you might not be. So it's just about getting the right timing.
What's the process from here to get you back out playing here in the Ninja A-League, and I guess rebuilding that confidence in your body as well?
It's just time. It's just a lot of time, and hopefully that the annoying people behind me, but that's just time. Finding that right balance, getting all the numbers that I need to get, getting even between legs. It's a million things all combined into one, and it's just getting that right balance.
Yeah, do you think there's a bit of a mental hurdle this time? Like, there's always a mental hurdle with that type of injury, but I know after my second one it was a really big thing I had to overcome. So do you think you've had to do anything different this time? You're obviously taking a little bit more time with your third one, so is there anything special you've had to do?
I think for me, it's just getting back into it, getting that confidence. Obviously, getting hit is a big thing when you come back from ACLs, and I've told my teammates, please just hit me at training. You just need to get used to it again.
Get back on the horse.
Get back onto it. If you get a few fouls, you get a few fouls in training, but it prepares you, and I'm looking forward to that side of it.
We cannot wait to see you back out in the middle. Thanks so much for having a chat with us. Holly McNamara here on the desk. We'll see you back out on Amy Park very soon, which is where we're going to head next. Time for a really quick break here, and then your commentary team on the other side for the second half of this clash, Teo Palizzeri and Grace Gill.
Western Sydney Wanderers have made a half-time substitution coming up from the 37 in Harada. Should replace half-time.
Welcome back to live pictures from Amy Park, where in the Ninja A-League, Mariana Speckmeyer is the goal scorer that separates Melbourne City from Western Sydney Wanderers. Sophie Harding has been subbed on at halftime. The Dolan medalist comes off the bench, and she's replaced Enna Harada. So it will be interesting to see what positional reshuffling goes on. You expect Harding to lead the line as the second half kicks off, with Melbourne City enjoying a 1-0 lead, and Grace Gill, inevitably, a player will be pushed back into midfield as a result, but we'll have to watch how the Wanderers' formation adjusts for the departure of the Japanese midfielder Harada and the arrival of Sophie Harding.
Well, we might get an early look here, Teo, as Sophie Harding introduces herself onto the field.
And looking to make an immediate impact. Pass to Price. Now Chisari. Talia Yunus in shooting range, so has a go. And a shot on target is held onto by Milena Mires.
Well, it's a promising start. It was a 45 minutes without not only a shot on target, but without a single shot for the Western Sydney Wanderers. So the introduction of Harding might mean a couple of things. There's obviously a target striker that we know from last season, Soph Harding, 12 goals for the season.
And trying to close down Mires and turn that heat up. It was actually a similar looking moment to her goal back in round one, where she caught Danielle Krasaniak of Newcastle in possession. And so a promising first minute out of the rooms, but you'd expect nothing less from this Wanderers team that have now gone 4 full games without scoring. They have not scored since the first half of round one. So they are getting into some unwanted territory as far as the record books go. They would love to score today just to get that feeling back. Melbourne City had to wait until the 42nd minute, but eventually got rewarded for a first half where they created some really high-quality chances, if not a continuous feeling of relentlessness about how they attacked. There were definitely some flatter spells where Wanderers were able to catch a breather.
And even that little give and go at the start there with Harding and Yunus was the right idea. The pass through from Yunus ultimately intercepted, but you can see the anticipation, the run of Harding looking for the ball. It's going to take a little bit more than that to break down what is a really experienced defensive line for this City team.
And the veteran Kiwi defender Rebecca Stott will be keeping a close eye on Sophie Harding, who, for her goal-scoring exploits, I should say, head clash here. And it's 2 Melbourne City players who are down. Carly Rossback, and she's able to communicate with her teammates here, but we've also got Taylor Otto, who is getting medical attention as well.
You can see both players going for the ball, both eyes on the ball.
Oh, and there's a big egg on the head of Taylor Otto. You suspect that'll be the end of her game today. That's going to probably result in a black eye and hopefully not a concussion. But certainly visually, it's always a little bit distressing. And she's put her hands on her head and realised that her afternoon is over. Let's throw down to the sideline. Neve Owens is keeping a close eye on things.
Yeah, we sure are. We can see Carly Rossback undertaking that test right now. What happens, KK, in these moments?
Yeah, there's a quick test that they do put you through. Obviously, a quick test of what day it is today. And, you know, sometimes it is actually hard to remember these things at the best of times. But they do have a quick test and look for these symptoms, whether you have to be subbed off. But Otto's, I don't think she's doing any more headers today, to be honest. Like, that's going to hurt if she cops another one on that. So they have to be really diligent in this process.
It was great to see Carly Rossback and called back into the Matildas squad. She'll rejoin the squad after this game today. We saw her in France in 2019 make her Tilly's debut, and even she said this week that she was surprised that the callback after her injuries has come so soon.
Yeah, things you want in life always come when you're not looking for them. So when you're expecting them. So I think that's another instance of this, but it'll be amazing for her to step into camp. So I think she's going to be a little bit cautious with this as well, because with concussions, it's not just the first impact. You have to be really wary of the second impact. So even if she has mild symptoms right now and she does get into another challenge and gets hit again, or a really big header today, she might actually end up with some long-term symptoms. So she has to be really careful here.
As play restarts, Taylor Otto has been waved back on here. The next break in play will come back. I have another question for Elise Kellon-Knight about what we're seeing here, but Wanderers are on the attack. And here is Kush LaRue, and now Sienna Saveska, Briley Henry, surveying the options, goes back to Apostolakis. And now here's Chisari, taken away by McKenna. And it's going to be retrieved by Ella Buchanan here, not allowed to run out. Harrison. Diagonal ball is going to have a bit of momentum on it. Kush LaRue brings it down, but immediately dispossessed by Alexia Apostolakis. Policina. And now Rihanna Policina switching flanks. Chisari in a battle with Hughes. Trying to keep the momentum going, but Wanderers have retained the ball. And it runs down to Sham Karmas. Her first touch of the second half. Hits the sideline. Matos. The ball rears up off the surface. You don't expect that on a rainy day. That's how good the drainage is. I just want to throw it back down to Elise Kellon-Knight. KK, have you ever seen a player with an egg that size after a head clash continue in the game? I mean, yes, Taylor Otto might have passed the medical assessment for concussion, but I mean, is this something you're familiar with or have seen before?
No, that's actually quite impressive. We were just jokingly saying she shouldn't look at the big screen, because immediately when you see how big it is, maybe you think it's worse than what it is. But she's just jumped off the field now and is receiving a bit of a head wrap. So I guess they're pretty conscious of how big it is and what it may turn into. So she's going to have to be careful there.
Yeah.
Thank you to Elise Kellon-Knight, of course, a professional player for so many years. And that is a first. Grace Gill, I mean, I'm shocked that Otto's on the field, but I guess you got to trust the medical professionals, yeah?
Yeah, look, I think that's a genuine cause for concern for both players, to be fair, because it was a really heavy clash, and this Kush LaRue just not checking her line for another offside, the 5th of the afternoon. But for Otto, we know she's such an aerial threat, both defensively and in attack, but another bump on an egg like that on your head, not only is that going to be extremely painful, but there's a reason that there's a bump on her head, because there's been a severe head clash. So I'm sort of a little bewildered by that. I hope she's okay. I hope Rossbacken's okay. We want, of course, Carly Rossbacken to see some more time in that Matildas squad. But yeah, a little bit of a baffling one for me, to be fair.
Well, watch this space. The medicos have earned their qualifications and their jobs for a reason. So if they've made the call, I guess you got to back them. Right now, the game is afoot for Melbourne City. Letitia McKenna sends it out to the right. Briley Henry advancing, and it sits up for Speckmeyer, who then boots it 10 rows back in the stands. Well, Briley Henry, maybe too unselfish there.
I had wondered for a moment if Henry was offside, but deemed to have time to run to perfection, and it got a little far past the frame of the goal. That would have been a really tricky one for Speckmeyer to redirect even back into a dangerous area.
And Letitia McKenna again keeping things ticking over in midfield with an excellent pass out to the right that set Henry away. Rossbacken. Speckmeyer's turn to hang off the last defender. And she runs the ball down here, has Buchanan, loses Buchanan. Speckmeyer on the tight angle puts it into the side netting and tried to catch out Sham Karmas at the near post. And so the peppering continues for today's goal scorer.
Well, little thumbs up there from Speckmeyer. She's continued to look really dangerous. I think Karmas did have a near post covered, perhaps the better option, looking to find a ball centrally, but Speckmeyer, she shows great anticipation, great speed, just a really good ability to read the play, when to press.
And the scoreline remains 1-0. The sun has broken out at Amy Park, so we saw the ball rear up off the surface earlier in the half. The firmness is back. It can rain for the entire first half at this venue, and yet it won't become so sodden that the ball won't still have a bit of spring in it when it hits the turf. Melbourne City with Rossbacken and Speckmeyer. Maybe out of ideas there. It seemed like a bit of a lethargic passage of play, and you see Rossbacken springing back to life, trying to sharpen up here and win the header. Price is going to break out into open field here for Kush LaRue to try and turn on the afterburners. And Backhurst speed tries to set Eunice away through the right as well. Across comes Otto. And Taylor Otto round the corner. Rossbacken really clever to lose Saveska. And here's McKenna. She's brought her own ball to Amy Park today because she is running this game. Letitia McKenna keeps advancing, sends it to the right side, sits up kindly for Harvey. McKenna to finish her work and blocked away. Amy Harrison in the nick of time. Speckmeyer collapses to the turf. No whistle. And now Matos comes over to help out Buchanan and clear away. Harding trying to make a physical presence here. Otto got to the ball. Now Rebecca Stott. Catherine Harvey looks at the options in the box and sails that cross out for a goal kick.
A little disappointing delivery after what was a good passage from City again.
One martyr there among the Western Sydney Wanderers players. This is a double header, of course, which you can watch later this evening. The feast of football continues on Paramount Plus. Will Juan Mata be starting tonight? It's been the talk of the Wanderers. They've got spot fires across the club. The women's team can't score a goal. They're looking to end a 4-game drought. Juan Mata is a talking point, whether he starts, whether he's on the bench. It's a big fan base, big expectations for the Western Sydney Wanderers, for their men's and women's team alike. Stop. Sees Apostolakis in space, closed down immediately. Price did well. Eunice loses the ball, back to McKenna. Otto being pressed. A hurried pass. Rossbacken kicks to clear. That's a great first touch by Polisena. And now wheels around in midfield, but can't quite find a teammate. Cesari. Buchanan looks to send it down the right channel, but a little skinny, too close to the keeper. As we meander towards the hour mark, Grayscale, is there a sub you like for either team? We have seen Sophie Harding come on for Enna Harada at half-time, but is there anyone else whose name leaps off the bench at you? We'll come to that after this next phase of play. Sienna Saveska shooting on sight, and Milena Mires might have lost her right-hand post there. She was scrambling for the ball, but fortunately for her, Saveska was off target.
I really like that vision from Sienna Saveska as well. Clever from the young player, just to get her eyes up. You see that little glance, she looks up, sees the keeper off her line. And still the Wanderers persisting with this high line and high press.
And they do force a long clearance onto the head of Harrison. McKenna follows up. Now Polisena. Briley Henry trying to use her speed. Paige Haywood trying to use a bit of bluster. Henry did get to the ball first, though. The cut back to Speckmeyer is deflected away. Good recovery from Haywood. He was always scrambling to stay step for step with Henry, but blocked it out.
Yeah, Haywood's done really well there. It's a great run by Briley Henry. Came from behind, managed to get good body position. Tried to cut the ball back, had some City shirts for support in the middle of the box.
And Alexia Apostolakis has got forward to take the corner kick here. We saw Polisena take one from this side in the first half. It's a flat, direct corner. Batted away by Karmas. Polisena, roundhouse volley, and cleared off the line. Wanderers had two defenders back. Price was one of them and was able to block the ball. It was a shot on target from Rihanna Polisena. Hughes bowled over, free kick in shooting range.
That one pretty casual, pretty clumsy.
And they're not going to take a shot direct. They're going to take it quickly. Stott, and it deflects off the woodwork. Nearly a goal by accident. Polisena, who is down and the physio is being called, nearly scored off a deflection from a ball booted into her own face.
Well, it's quickly taken by City. Clever. they looked to catch the Western Sydney Wanderers a little unawares, and they almost did. Nice early ball coming through from Stott, and it's point-blank range. Pollicina straight to ground. Those ones really hurt. Had it found the back of the net, well, she didn't know too much about it.
That's incredible. I mean, a literal description is a header off the post, but certainly nothing conventional about it. And now it's Rana Pollicina's turn, and the sideline staff for Melbourne City are working overtime in this second 45.
Well, it was a bit of a clumsy giveaway in a dangerous part of the field. Good to see Pollicina back to her feet. She's crucial in the middle of the park, and all smiles, so that's great to see.
And the game at the hour mark remains 1-0. And I can come back to the question I did ask you before action sprung to life. Is there a sub you like for either team?
Yeah, well, I think for City, we mentioned it at the top of the game, but the youth on the bench they have is actually really exciting. Shelby McMahon, the 16-year-old, she's been getting a few minutes here and there, growing in confidence, and would love to see a bit of involvement from her. Already the one change of Sophie Harding, who had a few early touches for the Wanderers, but has gone a little quiet the last few minutes. I'd be really keen to see Holly Caspers having returned to the Wanderers side in the matchday squad. She was excellent last season.
She's been battling a bit of a persistent knee injury that she's finally overcome, that she actually picked up at the end of the last A-League women's season. It has now been cleared after missing the first month to come back. December was always the plan, so on November 30th she makes her first matchday squad of the campaign. Of course, we've seen younger sister Maddie Caspers come back from a serious leg injury of her own for Sydney FC this season. Hughes. Chisari backtracking and winning the ball. Pass out of defence hasn't allowed Wanderers to escape City's attack, though. Briley Henry, a quick turn. The cut back, Apostolakis. Harrison, heard the shout from Sham Karmas. And you've got to trust your keeper and know their voice just to blindly leave it in the penalty area like that. And through came Karmas to pick it up and collect.
I think Briley Henry's really come alive into this second half. She's finding a little bit more space on that right-hand side for City. And the awareness of the cutback there, knowing that there were City players streaming through late into the box, really clever.
Catherine Harvey's right there, and Amy Harrison decides not to boot the ball away and just trusted that the goalkeeper was going to come over the top and pluck it before the Canadian striker could put a foot on the ball. Mires now, Eunice pressing all the way up. Stott, you see Saveska coming in from the blind side, but can't stop Stott from advancing the ball for City. Henry to Pollicina. And now the follow-up here. Briley Henry sends it out to Speckmeyer on the left. Speckmeyer. Henry continuing on. And it goes into the side netting. Karmas and Harrison converged in. It was just a big three-way block tackle. And it ended up deflecting into the side netting.
Was persistence shown by Henry. She looks a little worse for wear after that one, but Speckmeyer just slows things down, but Henry had continued her run. Almost saw the fruits of her hard work. But once more, Sham Karmas off her line, makes the save.
No call for the trainer. You could see the impact there on her right foot, though, as Wanderers defender and keeper both crashed in. But the good news is she's back up and running. Ross Backen, just a little chip over the top, and it'll be keeper's ball. Chisari trying to thread the eye of the needle out to the left-hand side. It was always going to be a tough pass to get the better of Rebecca Stott. Passing out of defence in this second half has been a little bit more comfortable for Melbourne City. Ross Backen, as they look to break the lines at the other end. Hughes It's a scramble to prevent the corner, and they can't, the Wanderers, so corner kick coming up.
Really nice forward play there from City. Options coming through, streaming forward. The run of Hughes, the run of Speckmeyer. Rossbacken had choices either which way. But you're right, there's just a bit more freedom about the way City are playing, things opening up, able to connect through the midfield much more comfortably than what they could in the first half.
So an attacking corner. Postolakis taking the corner from both sides. Near post header cleared off the post. Amy Chisari, for the second time this season, has made a saving block. City thought it was a corner. Referee disagreed. And she did the same thing against Adelaide United. A goal line clearance from Amy Chisari. And her goalkeeping stats would actually be looking pretty good, even as an outfielder. Here's Harding. Haywood. Harrison. Now Buchanan. Wanderers looking to build. Matos. Chisari to Eunice. And Chisari now. City back and set behind the ball. Who's got the right pass to try and unlock the defence? It won't be that one. Polisina comes away with possession. As the ball finds its way out, it looks as though there's going to be some activity on the Wanderers bench. Throwing down the line in the meantime from Matos. Saveska popping the ball over the top. Mires quickly out to collect. And now McKenna. Apostolakis. Henry. He's going to run with the ball. Just drifts into midfield, but that's where Hughes was waiting. It's not quite breakneck speed from City. They need one pass or one little burst of acceleration just to try and get the defenders on their heels. Hughes. Speckmeyer. And this might be it here. The dash from Rossbacken. Wheels around onto the cross and too close to the keeper.
Well, idea right from City. A run forward from Rossbacken providing a good option. Delivery just not quite the execution it needed.
And calls to put the ball out here. Mariana Speckmeyer has taken a knee. And out come the trainers. It's totally unclear exactly what the problem is at the moment. It's a discussion to begin with.
Well, that would be a concerning sign for Speckmeyer to leave the field of play.
That was young Kira Myers getting a talking to there on the bench, 17 years old. Has come on as a 96th and a 93rd minute sub this year, so she might be in line to get a significant chunk more game time than she's been previously exposed to, the youngster. And this would be a big loss for City. Speckmeyer seems to be favouring the left hamstring, but it's not really apparent. There was nothing in open play that really set off a flag that she was struggling.
Perhaps she's just felt something be a little bit tight and rather play the precautionary card. We know already City without Lourdes Bosch.
And so Wanderers will take the opportunity to make a sub. It's a straight swap at the centre of defence with Ella Buchanan off and Gemma Ferris coming on. And now Millie Bennett is going to be coming on as well. 16-year-old for just her third appearance in the Ninja A-League. And it's Liv Price whose number is up. So the 119-game veteran is replaced by the third gamer. So fresh legs, but also a loss of a bit of a veteran presence there. We'll see how that changes the dynamic for Western Sydney. Paperwork still going in here. There's Kira Myers. Made her debut as a 15-year-old 2 seasons ago for Melbourne City. And it looks as though the delay here at Central Station. We're finally going to start clearing all the subs. On comes Myers, and she is replacing the injured Mariana Speckmeyer. Watch this space. Speckmeyer takes her seat on the bench. Right now, her goal is the match winner. And is it Rihanna Policina whose number is coming up as well? Oh, everyone's taking their time getting these subs through here. And Policina's afternoon is over. She comes off, and the youngster Shelby McMahon does enter the game. 16 years old, on for just her 9th appearance in the Ninja A-League, but a player who's already captured the imagination by scoring 2 goals last season. And certainly a player with great potential. So back underway after a fairly significant delay. 4 new faces into the game as well.
Well, certainly that lull in the game. We'll see how both teams look to spring back to life. Definitely youth and inexperience on for Melbourne City. McMahon, Myers, 16 and 17 years old respectively. We'll have a look over the next minute or so to see where they shuffle into and if that changes anything for the position and formation of this City team.
Harrison backtracking here. All the way to Karmas. Clearance went straight to McMahon. First touch off the bench. Henry hampered by the challenge from Hayward. And now that's a saving challenge there from Chisari. Just when it looked as though McKenna might have been bearing down on goal.
It also looked as though McKenna didn't see the ball come through with her in that play. Crucial challenge from Chisari. She just lost the ball. You can see looking around and a little tug of the shirt as well. Chisari's got to be careful there.
Harvey, now McKenna. Henry and Rossbacken. Now Myers. Kira Myers. Quick feet. Maybe a little too quick. Can't find McKenna with the pass. Harding trying to hold up the ball. Bit of support coming now from Silvesca. On her right foot, sends it through. Talia Eunice away. Flag stays down. Harding is motoring in the middle. And the cross is picked off by Apostolakis. And now Eunice with a block that goes out. Not just a sliver of an opportunity there for the Wanderers.
Just a half chance, the ball from Eunice. The right idea, but perhaps needed to be in front of Harding so she could continue her run. Didn't have much other to aim for. Delivery was just a touch behind where it needed to be.
Long ball here, dealt with by Hayward. Follow-up header, though, from McMahon. Hayward called upon again. This time he's going to twist out onto the left side. Rue. Hayward's pass intercepted by Hughes, who's then gone flying into Chisari. Well, Chisari gets up and says, yellow for me. Looks like Hughes might have been the one that initiated contact, but first booking and a mid-range free kick.
Oh, Hughes had somewhat lost control of the ball there, and contact nonetheless late from Chisari.
Well, have to watch her step now. She makes so many tackles, Amy Chisari. And when you don't have a yellow card next to your name, you can sometimes just stick your foot in where it doesn't belong and try your luck from time to time. But now you have to walk a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, ultimately for that one goes in the book for a reckless offence. But she's been a real bright spot in this Wanderers side, Amy Chisari.
So a long-range free kick here. Apostolakis drifts it to the edge of the 6-yard box. And it bounces out harmlessly in the end. And so it just remains the odd goal. It's one great pass, one moment of brilliance, one slip up away. And Melbourne City, their afternoon's work, might go up in smoke.
And so far, still the Wanderers chasing an equaliser, but City holding on to, if the score were to remain, their first clean sheet of the year.
Stott. Bennett, the 16-year-old, wins the ball away. Harrison. Henry. About to drive forward here, Briley Henry now turns on the acceleration and flashes it through the box. He had two players there in McMahon and Myers who were trying to make ground in the middle. Briley Henry, with the confidence of that Matilda's call-up, is rising to the moment.
Yeah, she's had a really good second half so far, Briley Henry. Just looking for a touch as that ball flashes across the face of goal. But she's continuing to create on that right-hand side, continuing to have the confidence to take on Hayward.
Otto wins the header. Harrison slices the volley away. Bennett's header. Now Eunice. Barged in the back by Hughes. Free kick. Bennett not wasting any time as Eunice gets back up. Harding off and running. Stott in pursuit. Harding cuts inside. And up against the entire City defence, it was blocked away. And now McMahon can launch a counter the other way. End to end is how City really likes to play the game, but Briley Henry can't go past the cover of Hayward and Chisari.
That was smart play by the 16-year-old Amelia Bennett, looking for the early ball over the top to Sophie Harding, who I thought did very well. Had 2 or 3 City shirts surrounding her. She still managed to get a shot away, blocked in the end. But Wanderers just looking for that quick counter, trying to find something on the break. 15 minutes to play. You start to wonder if there'll be a little bit more desperation coming to the game.
Incisive pass here. Doesn't quite sit up for Henry, though. Karmas at the edge of the box. Good overarm throw to distribute it. Now Kush LaRue. Misplaced pass. McKenna. McMahon. Waits for Myers to break on the left and attract a couple of defenders. Through comes McKenna from deep in midfield. Takes the shot on, and Karmas able to save on the half volley.
I think Letitia McKenna's been excellent this afternoon, just really pulling the strings in the midfield, putting in the hard work as well.
I mean, Leah Davidson's going to go away on Matilda's duty and is going to say, well, hang on a minute. What are you doing shining in my absence? Hey, it's a great situation for Melbourne City. Lots of competition and players who, if you give them an opportunity, will step up and take it.
Well, exactly that. Football built around opportunities, and this afternoon I'd say Letitia McKenna has certainly taken her. She's looked excellent.
McKenna here, round the corner, plays it to Apostolakis. Tries to hit the right channel. Henry's been the outlet for so much of City's distribution in this second half. Back into the midfield it goes. Hughes, McKenna. The ball speed just picking up here from the home side, and then Rossbacken not on the same wavelength as McMahon on that occasion. Chisari clearing from deep in defence. Eunice. Matos had to make that block. It was coming back with interest. Stott. Otto. McKenna. Here's a look at the live ladder. Melbourne City going top, of course. They've played 5. The rest of the competition below them there has played 4. Canberra and the Central Coast Mariners kicking off in 10 minutes on 10 play in Paramount Plus. So it's a nice, easy switch from this game to that one. The only 2 games in the Ninja A-League this weekend. And they're all involving potential contenders. Find out a lot about Canberra today. Here's Myers. Hangs up across, but not really able to put it on the head of a teammate.
Wonderful switch of play from Apostolakis at the back to find Myers in space, the fresh legs of the substitute.
Eunice. Ferris. Harding now. Matos. And blocked away by Hughes. Bit of backspin on the ball and no real subtlety in that shove from Amy Harrison. And it might have led to Harvey maybe just starting to feel a pre-cramp there rather than a full-blown cramp.
Almost a bit of sense of frustration there from Amy Harrison. Nothing subtle at all about the challenge, straight through the back.
So Harvey was the player fouled, but Briley Henry has also gone down here and is still on her haunches here. It's not really clear exactly what the ailment is. Maybe winded. They're holding off on calling the trainer out just yet. Oh, looks like there's a smile trying to break through the grimace there from Briley Henry.
Unclear exactly what happened there with Briley Henry, but you hope she's okay. She's had a really great second half here, of course, joining up with the Matildas camp when they come down to Victoria in a few days' time.
So Apostolakis, who has been on set-piece duty, corners, free kicks, the lot in this second half. Can she provide the perfect delivery? And with 10 minutes of regulation to go, put 3 points in the bank for Melbourne City. To the edge of the box it goes, straight off the head of Rue. Matos. Chasari tries to spin out of trouble. Apostolakis not letting her past. Of course, those two were teammates the last couple of seasons at Wanderers. Would know each other's games well. Carly Rossback and taking plenty of time here. Melbourne City at times in this match have let it meander. They probably do know a second would put them out of reach here, but as long as it stays 1-0, Wanderers can still harbour some hope. McMahon. Henry back up and moving. Is going to shoot from the, well beyond the top of the box in the end, and Sham Karmas makes a very comfortable save. Hayward to Eunice. Great pass. Sets Rue away. Kushla Rue's got Briley Henry for company, though. And decides to double back rather than forge on. Receives the ball again. And Eunice moving well. Talia Eunice from the wing. Looks up at McKenna and wins a corner. And it's a much taller Wanderers team than the first half because they've got Sophie Harding and Gemma Ferris out there now.
No doubt both those players, aerial targets. And just little glimpses, but you see the moments of quality from Talia Eunice, the touch around the corner.
So a great moment here for Holly Caspers. She's been out since March the 16th with injury and now gets to return to competitive football. Kush LaRue makes way, heads to the bench, but Caspers, 24 years old, and scored 5 goals in 18 appearances, including one against Melbourne City last season. Here's the corner. Eunice, an in-swinger, and with no one challenging from Wanderers, it's an uncontested catch for Milena Mires.
Strong hand shown from Mires, confident, and she'll take her time here now as well. Under 10 minutes of regulation to play, and City can really dictate terms.
Caspers appears to have been thrown straight up front, so Rue was working out on a wing. Caspers maybe taking up a more central role.
And maybe this too, the gamble that Robbie Hooker has looked to play, sending some more numbers forward. It's a bit of risk-reward. You either run the risk of conceding another or equalising and coming away from the match with a point.
Well, I think you've got to take the risk. Western Sydney Wanderers, their first game at Amy Park was January 2014, so it's almost 11 years that they have been visiting this venue. They have never done anything other than lose at this ground. They've not even got a draw. Here's Ross back in, and it's a point-blank save. It was offside. It won't go on the stat sheet for Sham Karmas due to that flag. But even a draw today would be a breakthrough result for Western Sydney if they can grab an equaliser.
Absolutely. Quick nod as well to that save again from Karmas.
Off the head here, Mires. Well, it was commitment from Caspers. Mires is down, players whistle dead. And Holly Caspers with that little burst of acceleration there. Milena Mires, her foot is hurt. And Caspers only just coming back from injury, so there'll be maybe a bit of nerves there.
Well, both players remaining down. The goalkeeper was well off her line, committed to come for the challenge. Caspers showing that speed and acceleration, and you can see the feet just clashing together for both players.
Now, play was whistled dead. Is Caspers a little bit lucky to avoid a foul and a card there, I wonder? Because it appears as though Mires was first to the ball. Anyway, it's a moot point. The referee has made the decision, but treatment continues for Milena Mires in the meantime. And Holly Caspers has got the physio out there for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Couldn't imagine a worse scenario than coming back from injury, only to have to leave the game a couple of minutes after making the big comeback.
Well, from one end to the other, moments earlier we saw City with a really good move, a great cross from Rossbakken. Riley Henry almost feels as though she deserves a goal for the afternoon, but Sham Khamis yet again standing up tall. That's 5 saves for the afternoon for her.
So Melissa Barbieri, who played, of course, in last season's Ninja A-League Grand Final, at 44 years of age, is on the bench. There is Bubs doing the warm-ups. Actually, last week in Unite Round, after the game was over, Barbieri went and was doing goalkeeping drills out on the ground just to get the GPS minutes up. In the meantime, Michael Matriciani doesn't appear to be thinking about subbing his goalkeepers. He's thinking about Caitlin Carriage, the young striker there, who's getting a little tactical briefing before potentially coming on here.
Fair to say there'll be plenty of stoppage time added. Taylor Otto's had enough of that head strapping. A redo.
I think that was on the cards potentially. And now concerns turn to Holly Caspers, whose treatment is continuing here. And the body language, I mean, that's real distress. And this is a bit of a heartbreaking scene. Holly Caspers, just minutes into her comeback from an injury, appears to be getting a fairly serious assessment on that right foot.
Yeah, really awful to see Caspers in such distress. Having returned and taken the time she needed to after that injury, and this be her reintroduction, just devastating.
Well, the boot's off. I mean, that looks like it's going to be game over, and the emotional toll as much as the physical toll is just absolutely brutal here for this young woman.
Yeah, I think you can see in just her reaction to how disappointed she is, and yeah, that's a big loss for the Wanderers. We're really looking forward to the return of Holly Caspers.
So do they get, she's saying, take the stretcher away? Maybe that's a good sign. If they have to sub Caspers, could they potentially bring, they've only got one sub left on the bench, Keely Segicic. Do they give her an outfielder's shirt and just say, hey, what position have you ever played in your outfield career? Because, I mean, surely you don't finish the game with 10 if you can avoid it.
Well, at this rate, I don't think they'd look to bring on Segicic as a field player. There's no signs on the sideline of that happening just yet. And Casper's on her feet and able to walk off, which is a promising sign, but definitely a little question mark there, cause for concern, and you hope it's nothing too serious.
Well, if the boot and the shin guard go back on and it gets the thumbs up from the medical team, even that process is going to leave Wanderers down to 10 players for at least another minute or so, you would suspect. It's been a day of surprises where players who have looked like their afternoon might be over have made miraculous comebacks. Maybe we're about to see another one here. Treatment continues, but now the ball is live and it's 11 versus 10 with only 2 minutes of regulation to go. And who knows how many minutes of stoppage. You'd think 5+, maybe even more, due to some of the injury concerns we've had in this half. Stott. Henry, able to turn out of trouble. Still Briley Henry, but pushes it beyond McMahon. Cleared away by Ferris. McMahon. Harvey. Backheel flick, can't quite invite Myers onto the ball. Ferris clears away. Stott leads Harding to the ball. Thought better than the back pass, Stott, because there were unmarked players in the middle, and the outlet pass was Taylor Otto.
Well, unsurprisingly, it's coolly done by Rebecca Stott. Had Sophie Harding bearing down over her shoulder. Little glance over one shoulder, swiveled to the next, and City can hold on to the ball for a while longer.
Harvey keeps it moving. McMahon. Kira Myers, and now Harvey again. Briley Henry waits at the far post, but Sham Khamis able to cut the angle and take the ball away. Boots it long, hoping for Harding. Off Harding's head, Talia Yunus a lone runner though.
Well, they've just been a little isolated up top, the Wanderers. Holly Caspers looks to try and get herself back onto the field of play.
Well, it will have been almost 3 minutes of live action, 11 versus 10 for the Wanderers. As we tick towards stoppage time, how many minutes is the question? 10. Fourth official Isabella Mosson has signalled. So this game is far from over. Plenty more to the story. Hughes. Myers. Hughes. Now McKenna. City very comfortably possessing the ball at the moment. What can the Wanderers do to try and win it back off them? Hughes. Now McKenna again. Playing the ball in dangerous territory. Only one pass away from the penalty area. The amount of shouting from the sideline is starting to get louder and more frequent. And now a giveaway. This is Wanderers' window of opportunity. Bennett shut down initially and then shut down a second time. Kira Myers came through. McKenna. Back to Otto.
Well, the Wanderers almost waiting for a mistake, but time, their enemy. They're still sitting back, and you wonder if at any point they're going to start to press and force the mistake instead of wait for it. Tired legs, understandably. It's been a long afternoon.
Riley Henry and Myers. Clash of legs. Slide challenge comes in from Apostolakis. Went to ground early, but got the ball. And now Henry. Over to McMahon in space. Shelby McMahon. McKenna to change the pace of the attack, but some tenacity from Ferris, and then a foul eventually. And you see Amy Harrison and Paige Hayward and Ferris herself all blowing up here about the call.
Well, it was the tug of the shirt that I think ultimately gave this one here. I don't think there's too much to argue about that.
Well, the big screen maybe has been the evidence. Frown's turned to laughter there for a moment, but it's a serious situation because Alexia Apostolakis, we've seen her score one long-range goal this season against the Mariners. That was in open play. From a dead ball here, Wanderers are going to set a wall and show her plenty of respect over this free kick. Alexia Apostolakis stands solo over the opportunity here. Sham Khamis has set a wall of 4 and waits on the goal line. Apostolakis. It catches the wall and finds the back of the net. And the long-range threat of Alexia Apostolakis strikes again and makes the point safe for Melbourne City.
Well, the celebrations ring out at Amy Park. It's a well-taken hit on the Harvey Norman replay, a wicked deflection off the wall. Nothing Sham Khamis can do on this occasion, but Alexia Apostolakis stands up for her side and surely secures all 3 points for the afternoon. She's been excellent.
Alexia Apostolakis, second goal of the season, 4th career. And all smiles for Melbourne City. And it will be a Terrible feeling of deja vu for both Talia Younis and Sham Khamis last week against the Brisbane Roar. Massive deflection off a defensive wall. Who was the player in the wall that it hit? Talia Younis. And of course, who was the goalkeeper left stranded? Sham Khamis.
And unfortunately, in those moments, when it comes down with such spin and you've set up in a particular way, there's nothing you can do about it. But Alexia Apostolakis, who has been so sound at the back for City today, taken set pieces, and that one, you mentioned it, was the sole person standing over the free kick.
Here's Chisari. Even a goal for Wanderers would be a breakthrough of sorts. If they don't score by the end of today, it will be the first time that they've gone, or second time I should say, they've gone 4 games in a row without a goal. Harding trying to change that. Blocked away. And they're finishing this game 10 versus 11. Holly Caspers has gone to the bench, so they are a player short for their troubles in this match. Ferris, Bennett, Younis, lifts in across Talia Younis. Otto heads away. At the edge of the box, Chisari, and plucked out of the sky by Milena Mires.
Well, Mires too desperate to hold on to what would be her first clean sheet of the season. A shame to hear that Holly Casper's day has come to a very early end after just a couple of minutes on the field. Hope it's nothing too serious.
So just on the Wanderers scoring woes, October and November 2018, they went 4 consecutive games without scoring, and then another 73 minutes of a 5th game. It means that at the 15-minute mark of Wanderers' next match against the Western United team, that would be the unwanted record of the most match minutes, not including stoppage, without scoring. And as play comes to an end here, Milena Mires takes a seat. We saw her getting treated in that collision with Holly Caspers not long ago, so maybe with the 2-goal buffer, Melissa Barbieri will come on. Here's another look at the goal.
Yeah, really tricky to deal with as a goalkeeper. All smiles for Alexia Apostolakis, but nothing Khamis can do about that one.
It's like a repeating nightmare there for Sham Khamis, 2 games in a row. Treatment continues, but just to finish that point on Wanderers, it's the unwanted record of not scoring for 5 consecutive games. It's only happened 3 times in the history of this competition, so it will be red alert for them next time out if they can't grab a goal before the close. It won't be Melissa Barbieri coming on because Caitlin Carriage is going to get some minutes here, and she'll relieve Catherine Harvey, who has got through a power of work today. Still hasn't scored since round 1, but doesn't seem overly afraid of being a good teammate and just trying to keep the ball moving.
Yeah, she's happy to do the hard work, Catherine Harvey. As the brace back in round 1, that got her off to an absolute flyer in a new club. But pleasing too to see Caitlin Carriage take to the field.
Clearance here by Mires. Haywood. Chisari has not given up the fight all game. Harrison. Now Hughes. In a similar vein, every 50-50 ball is there still to be contested for these players. Still 2 additional minutes remaining, and there will be a bit of fallout after today's game. The various injury concerns on both teams. McKenna, quick fire, 1-2 with Hughes. In slides Silveska. Haywood. Younis. Silveska, long range pass, just over the head of Bennett, who was trying to rise to the ball. Cleared away by Ross Backen. Carriage, first touch off the bench, and tries to, and does complete the nutmeg against Matos, and City keep moving. McMahon, quick head check, sees Myers on the left. Kira Myers has never scored a goal in this league, and And she won't get to here because she's trapped offside. And immediately putting the heat right back on Ferris. So the bench players for Melbourne City refusing to ease up here. They know how competitive it is to get a game or just to make the bench in this Melbourne City team. And they want that first clean sheet of the season.
Well, some young players soaking up everything from a few vastly experienced heads on this City team.
Myers gets the better of Ferris. Still Kira Myers, and the cross deflects off the post. Carriage to cries of shoot. Deflected again, Myers, and this time Matos scrambles it away. Well, a bit of a chaotic 100th minute of this match. I'm not sure it would have been Kira Myers' goal either. The number of ricochets might have been an own goal. The woodwork had the final say. And to be fair, it is the woodwork that's perhaps the difference between 2 and a few more for Melbourne City this afternoon as the ball is booted into the stands. Referee looks at the watch. And we're not done just yet. Caitlin Williams, student of timekeeping, is going to make sure that every remaining second that this game owes us will be played. At the edge of the box. Is there one more in the tank for Melbourne City? They go backwards here. Apostolakis. And now Taylor Otto. McKenna spinning away from Bennett, gives up the ball. And now Sophie Harding, well, gets a chance here. Harding, can she break the Wanderers' scoring drought? She can't. And the full-time whistle goes. The frustration of Wanderers embodied by the final phase of the game. Their soul-searching will continue for another couple of weekends. Melbourne City, 3 points in the bank. Alexia Apostolakis gets to enjoy her second goal of the season. And Mariana Speckmeyer may have got the scoring started, but did leave the game with a bit of an injury concern over a potential hamstring. It's all smiles for now, but another one just a flag out of what was a punishing afternoon at Amy Park. Elena Mires, case in point, and the luckless Holly Caspers, who also had to leave the game after making her comeback from a long-term injury. All over though, Melbourne City 2, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. Let's get down to the post-game. Take it away, Neve Owens.
Mariana Speckmeyer, the goal scorer tonight, joins me. Mariana, we come to Amy Park, you score goals. It is brilliant, and that was such an important goal tonight. After hitting the crossbar and the post, were you just stoked to see it hit the back of the net?
Yeah, I love Amy Park. But yeah, no, it was a little frustrating at first, but it was nice to finally get the ball into the net.
You came off